Good afternoon, YouTube. It's man always George Page, aka the Emperor of Female Body Talk, coming to you live on YouTube. Well, folks, last night was a big event. It was UFC 315 in Quebec, Canada. It was a big event. I mean, it has been a while since they did any UFC fights in Canada. But like I said, it's opportunity. Some quite a few kind of Canadian fighters come out of that way, and most notably, as you know, the part of this fight was the co-main event, Valentina the Buddha Shevchenko versus Manon Ferriat. And like I said, I'm a fan of Valentina. Been a fan to this day, And a lot of people were pretty much, calling this as pretty much seeing that Valentina was the underdog in this fight. The bets even say she was underdog. If I betted on Valentina, I probably got some good check of change if I ever bet it. But like I said, this was a decent fight. I didn't get to see it, but a friend of mine, he watched it and he did a live stream commentary on it, and I listened. And shout out to my man. He's just a great guy. My man, the coach. I respect his content and also what he does for women in mixed martial arts. But anyway, the fight went as planned. Valentina just went in there. She was determined. This was her first title defense since she regained the title after last year. She lost the title to Alexa Grasso back in 2023, and then she gained it back last year, 2024. And she was going in here to prove that she's still one of the best fighters in the sport. I mean, truthfully, it was pretty good. There was some back and forth. What clips I can find on social media, especially on YouTube, because sometimes you find somebody who posts a whole fight, but then UFC is very, very tight about any time their fights get out there. And Valentina was using her jab, which kept the distance between her and Manon, going inside, using kicks. And even one point, hitting Manon so hard she busted her nose. And I mean, you could see the expression on her face. I don't think she was expecting that. But Manon still put up a good fight, throwing some body kicks, some good shots, and also using her strength, putting, Valentina against the cage. Even tried these some takedown attempts. I think she even got one. And Valentina just is the better fighter. Stand-up game is just awesome, counting strikes, also throwing in shots. One thing she needs to stop doing is the spinning heel kick. That got her caught the last time when she fought Alexa. And, she's just a very smart and very calculating fighter. She just really predict where Manon was going, how she was moving. And, Manon did get a takedown, but like I said, didn't do much with the takedown. But, takedowns do count. But Valentina is just, it doesn't take much. Once there was some perspective that she might, if you got in the right position, she probably could have submitted Manon with a rear naked choke. But there was one point when it got towards the end of the fourth round, Valentina hit Manon with an awesome right and knocked her on her behind. And it was just, I think, the last few seconds of the fourth round. If she had just a few more, maybe a little bit more for 30 more seconds, maybe a minute, I think this fight would have been ended through the strikes. Especially with Valentina getting on top. Manon, look at her expression on her face. Look at her face. This is something she'd never been before. And I tell you, I mean, Valentina throw everything at Manon, even the kitchen sink. Strikes, elbows, spinning kicks, spinning fists. I mean, I think Manon didn't have any plans for this. I mean, she's gonna probably just feel like she just tried out muscle on Valentina. You don't realize it when you get in the ring with Valentina. You realize how strong she is. She is strong. So when the fight was ended, Valentina rose her arms, knowing she had put in the work and was dominant. I mean, I tell you the truth, I believe her, But at the end, when the announcer said, and still, women's 125 champion, there was no doubt the Bullet had dominated this fight. It was, I think, some say it was 4-1 in favor of Valentina. I think Manon might have won the third round because she got a couple of takedowns in. And even though Valentina gets some takedowns with Manon, she didn't hold much too long. She got and scrambled back up. I think one thing that was a problem. I think that's what she wasted injury on, doing a lot of cage hugging. But again, the Valentina is just so dominant. The Bullet is a dominant fighter. She's been in this game. This is her, like I said, this is her first title defense since she regained the title. And a lot of people had doubts, but me, I'm a fan. And I had no doubts. I felt, yeah, okay, honestly, yeah, I had some doubts, but I felt like she would come in and dominate. Valentina is just, I would say, is a great fighter. Just, I'm a fan of hers. I think she does really good. I think she has a great career in the sport. The future is bright for her, wherever, how far she's going to go. Now, also on this card was on the same main card was Natalia Silva versus Alexa Grasso. As you know, Alexa was the women's 125 champion last year when she lost the title to Valentina. And, Natalia's been doing pretty good. She's been on a 7-fight winning streak. So now she's possibly in the line for a title shot after beating the former champion. I mean, it's tough for Alexa. I mean, just back-to-back losses, especially with somebody up and coming like Natalia. What's the future for her? Maybe there's a couple of fights that could happen. One could be a fight between her and Manon Fiorot, just to see who can still get in the top contender spot. Also, as you know, I think in a few months, it's going to be a fight between Maycee Barber versus Erin Blanchfield. So she might either face the loser, not the winner, the loser of that fight. Because more likely, the winner is going to face Natalia, probably get, maybe title contender shot for the title against, Valentina Shevchenko. So there's a good chance that I think we're not going to put Natalia in with Valentina just yet. She's still young, even though she has a 7-fight winning streak, so they're known. But I think she needs maybe that one more fight, maybe to see how she does. So it's possibly either between Maycee Barber or Erin Blanchfield. More likely, I think it's going to be Erin Blanchfield she's going to fight. And Maycee's going to fight Alexa because they fought a few years back, and, that fight ended with Alexa winning. And, some still felt like it was kind of close. So possibly a rematch between Alexa and Maycee. So now Valentina has retained her title, being, I think, one of the most dominant champions next to, Amanda Nunes, Joanna Jędrzejczyk, Demetrius Johnson, a couple others here and there, who have dominated in their classes. But like I said again, the Bullet's just tough. She's amazing. What's the future for her? Well, as you know, there's still talk about her, a one-on-one versus the current women's 115 champ, and that is Weili Zhang. So that's a fight possibly might see in the summer, first of the fall, whichever way they're going to have it, whichever pay-per-view. And I think it would be a great main event pay-per-view. And Valentina has never main evented in her career, but this is a possibility. We see that happening. Also, Natalia Silva possibly might see that next year. I think the UFC want to see Natalia come along, but they don't want her to get blown out. Even though she is a lot younger than Valentina, still Valentina's skill set is just top notch. And what is the future for the Bullet? Like I said, she is almost 40. She's 37. I think she might be turning 38 this year. Maybe one more year of fighting. Maybe if she does lose the title, I would say move on. You can go do what you ever want to do. Start a school, train other people. I mean, hell, you have a good reputation being one of the top fighters in your sport. And a lot of people probably would love to be a student of yours. She's worked with people like, Rose Namajunas and a couple other fighters, So that's the future for her. I don't know. As I said in my last video, her sister has now moved away from fighting. Now she's focused on her career as a pilot and now being a mom. But Valentina loves to fight games. She's a natural. So we're just going to wait and see. Like I said, the possibility we're going to have the I say possibly of Valentina versus Weili Zhang this year by the end of the year, and probably fighting Natalia Silva about next spring, maybe early summer. That's a possibility. And with Manon and Grasso, I think they might go to head, or Grasso fight Grasso might fight possibly Maycee Barber in a rematch, and Erin Blanchfield might fight Manon, or fight Silva, who's trying to climb to get a title shot. So we're gonna wait and see. It's up to the UFC how they're gonna do it. That's their program, that's their plans, and they want to see the fighters advance, especially in the women's division. So best of luck and congratulations to the champ, the Bullet. To this day. You should mail our George Page, aka the Emperor of Female Combat Sports Talk. Like, don't like, subscribe. I'm out.